Hi everyone, this is Luxthos, and today I'm bringing you another video for Diablo 4. This time around, we're going to be talking leveling guide for Season 2. I've already made multiple videos about how to level, the best way to do it, the most fun way to do it, and all that stuff. But Season 2 is coming around, and there's a lot of buff to a lot of XP and a lot of rewards for all kinds of mechanic and open world activities. So I just wanted to make a quick updated video on it. And just give you like a quick little roundup on what I'm personally going to be doing to level, because I think it's going to be the most fun and effective. There's obviously going to be a better way of spamming like the same dungeon, and you know, there's always one of those. I personally do not like to do those, so we're going to go for something a little bit more fun. You're going to be slightly slower than the very try-hard route, but you're going to have more gear, your character is going to be more developed, and you're going to have a ton of fun. So I want to make sure that we go with that. So first of all, I have a little check note list here for all the things, and we're pretty much going to be going all over that during the video. First, very straightforward. You're going to choose your class, you're going to choose your character, and you're going to find a build for that character for leveling. I'm going to be coming up here with a Necromancer build that I'm going to be using for leveling and an endgame version as well. Stay tuned for that if you want to play Minion and Necromancer. That's going to be fun. But in the meantime, we're just going to go over the step here. So choose your class, choose your build, and then create your seasonal character. So here we're going to go for World Tier 1. You're going to skip the campaign, so we're going to do very straightforward. Pick your favorite class, you know, and there we go. Just go through it. Finalize. One thing that I've done, and it might sound stupid, but is I've taken a screenshot of my favorite configuration. So I know I have screenshots of how to build my Necromancer because I want the character to look a certain way. So I got screenshots of all the best option that I know I'm going to go for, and it allows me to go through the process a little bit faster. But you know, nothing crazy here. Make sure to skip the campaign, give it a name real quick. And then we're going to go for Seasonal Realm, and then you're going to go for World Tier 1. World Tier 2 is not, it's still not worth it unless you know really, really well what you're doing, but then you're probably maybe not watching this video and you're going to do your own thing anyway. I'm going to be World Tier 1. This is going to be the fastest. You get slightly less XP, slightly less gold, but you just go through the content that much more faster. So that's where we're going to go and start with here. So once your character is complete, once you log in, you're going to want to press the Tab key and then the W key to open up your Renown reward. So that's going to be very important. So if you've completed your Renown in the previous season, you are going to have access to all of your Renown being unlocked, right? So you want to make sure that you claim all the reward for the skill point here. As you can see, I can't claim the bottom one here. We already got all of these. But pretty much you're going to want to unlock all of your reward on your season. You're only going to be able to get the bottom one. The top one is just going to be bonus XP and gold that you're going to get as you progress the rest of the campaigns. You're going to be able to get some small bonuses, but you want to make sure you get your skill point, your potion capacity, and all that good stuff. So make sure that you claim this before going on to the next step. What we're going to do here is we're going to go accept the new vampire quest line. So obviously this is all speculation, but the chances of it working close to the same way as it did in Season 1 are pretty high. You're most likely going to have an NPC that's sitting close to where your character starts that is going to allow you to start the vampire questline. We don't really know what it is. We don't know how it's going to be, but they're mostly following a template here, okay? So you're going to have a quest. You're going to want to accept it, and you're going to want to spend as much time as you can progressing this quest. So obviously this one here is for the Malignant for the Season 1, but for Season 2 it's going to be a new quest, and it's probably going to be what guides you and enable the opening of the new mechanic for the Season 2. And that was really, really strong in Season 1. Those gem ended up being powerhouse for leveling, and some of the power for the Vampiric is actually pretty good. So you're going to want to make sure that that's enabled to allow you to level faster and just have a character in general more powerful. So make sure you put a lot of effort into completing the Vampire questline, and then you might hit walls at some point, right? It might tell you, oh, in order to progress, you need to finish this from the season journey or whatever. That's fine. Just stop at those walls and then keep going with the guide, right? But I just wanted to make sure that you were progressing towards this quest and that you were on your way to completing this. It's going to be very simple. So pretty much everything in the open world has been buffed. Legion event are giving massive amount of XP, and they're spawning every 25 minutes. So if you see one of these, I want you to run to it, get there, clear it out. Make sure that you get the little fire can that will give you some additional XP. If you have elixir available, make sure you use your elixir. And just if you can group up as well, if you have friends, or you can just invite random people next to the area, you're going to get some party bonus XP, which all of these are now going to be multiplicative. So that's going to be really, really good. So make sure you go there. Make sure you go there, drop everything you're doing, and do Legion event. They were already massive for XP. Now I expect them to be even crazier. So make sure you don't miss out on these. So that's going to be from level 1 to 48-ish. We're going to talk about this in a little bit here, but pretty much 1 to 48. Then you're going to go for the Tree of Whispers. Again, if you don't see any Legion event on your map, you're going to want to do dungeons. You're going to want to collect Grim Favors, which are going to come from these red dungeon over here. That's what I recommend to do. I'm not a big fan of doing the side ones here. They only give you 1 per each, and they can take quite a little bit of time. It's not super great. The only case that I would recommend doing these is if the new event called the Blood Harvest is spawned. So pretty much the Blood Harvest is supposed to be there all the time. We don't know how good it's going to be in XP. But if you see a Blood Harvest on the map and you see that there's objective for Grim Favor towards it, then why not do some double dipping, right? So that's a good case of double dipping right there. So make sure that you possibly go for these. Again, we're going to adjust this as we go, how we see how the Blood Harvest feel. If the XP is good, we're going to want to do more. If the XP is not so great, maybe we're just going to let it slide for now. Maybe it's going to be more for endgame stuff. But what I'm going to be focusing on is after Legion event, I'm going to be focusing on clearing dungeons. That gives me Grim Favor. And every time I complete 2 of these, I should get a Tree of Whisper. So the Tree of Whisper is going to give me really, really good XP. So you want to make sure that you complete this every single time, and you're going to be good to go. Blood Harvest, like I said, it's a possibility. We don't really know if they're going to be good in XP or not. So if you see one, go try it out. Go there. Try to see what you can do, how much XP you're getting from it. And if you feel like it's good, then you can prioritize it every now and then. But I still believe that Legion event are going to be the top one thing, right? And then these... Probably what I would end up doing is if they're pretty good, then just go there, clear the Tree of Whisper event stuff, do some stuff in there, and then go back to doing dungeons and Legion event, right? The Stronghold, you're going to want to make sure at some point before increasing your world tier that you clear this Stronghold that is right here. Hope's Light. This is going to unlock a very good dungeon, so you're going to need it later in order to unlock a really, really good dungeon for Nightmare Sigil. So you're going to want to make sure that you clear this one at some point. If you feel like clearing some Stronghold every now and then, like they're pretty good for XP and they're pretty fun. If you just want to change your pacing and you just want to do something else, feel free to go clear them. Feel free to go hunt them down and make sure that you do that. Also, make sure you target dungeons that possibly could unlock powers that are going to be good for your build, right? So those are going to be the 2 major things here. When it comes to World Boss, I didn't list it here because... If you're going to be leveling fast, you're most likely going to want to keep the World Boss for when you hit World Tier 4, because that's going to give you really, really good rewards right off the bat, which is going to allow you to finish like the last scaling part. If you plan on leveling over a couple of days, even a week or 2, then feel free to incorporate World Bosses in there. They're going to be great. They're going to give you some Grim Favors, and they're going to give you some good loot because they increase the reward from world bosses. So it could be really, really good to help your character grow in power as you progress. But if you know that you're going to be rushing those levels and you're going to be hitting the last world tier really, really fast, then probably save it for better reward, right? So at level 48, that can be done before, but roughly at level 48, that's when you're going to get the quest to go do it. But from what Blizzard told us, you're free to do this at any level, pretty much. As soon as you can enter that dungeon, you can go do it if you want to. The quest is going to pop at 48, so I put it at 48 as a general measure. Depending on if you know that you're more of a hardcore player, you can attempt it at 45 maybe. If you struggle a little bit, maybe attempt it at 50, right? But around that note, from 45 to 50, you want to try to swap to World Tier 2 and attempt the Capstone Dungeon, which is going to unlock World Tier 3 for you. So this is when you're going to unlock your World Tier 3. When you feel comfortable, go do this. and then feel free to swap, right? When you're going to hit that point, what I recommend is that you don't jump directly into Nightmare Dungeon, because you're still going to be wearing normal gear and you're going to be jumping to difficulty. So what I recommend that you do is that you do a little bit of open world. Go try to do some Hell Tides if you're capable. Go try to do a couple of activities, maybe some Legion events and stuff like that, and try to snipe some nice sacred gear. As soon as you get like a good weapon, some really good piece, maybe like like some really big defensive piece, like your legs, your chest, your helm. Those are going to help tremendously, especially if they have extra life, extra armor, and all that stuff. And that's going to help a lot. So make sure that you get a little bit of sacred gear, go upgrade it at the blacksmith, and then you can start pumping Nightmare Dungeon. So this is like a general bracket. If you feel comfortable starting Nightmare Dungeon before this, please do so. This is just like a general idea so that people know whenever to start doing Nightmare Dungeon. So once you're ready to go, you got a little bit of sacred gear, you feel comfortable, then you're going to be spamming Nightmare Dungeons. So it's a nice little change here. Feel free to still do Legion event if you want. Those are still really fun to do. I wouldn't so much try to do the rest of these things. I would probably just focus on Legion event. If you want to, in between dungeon, I wouldn't leave a dungeon, but if you finish a key and if you finish one of the sigils and you see a Legion event, feel free to go there, clear it out, and then keep doing your Nightmare Dungeon. But pretty much you're going to be spamming these right now. Here's a little tier list that you can do. These are going to be some of the best dungeon that you can do in order. These are going to have high density, and they're going to have good layouts for you to clear them. So make sure that you're efficient when you clear Nightmare Dungeons. Make sure that you go for the higher density pack. Make sure that you clear the elites. You don't have to wipe the entire map clean unless the objective says so. So that's going to be my recommendation here. Also, for the level of the key, there's no longer like we used to do like +3 for the perfect level. Pretty much just do whatever feels comfortable to you, like slowly increase key level. And if you see that it's starting to slow you down because the monsters are getting too difficult, then just dial it back down a little bit. So kind of just go with the flow depending on your build, depending on what legendary you found, what gear you found. It could be something that's super easy to do for you to do higher, or you could be struggling. Just adjust it as you go. Don't try so much to optimize like the best XP percentages. Just know that the higher you go, the higher the level of the mobs are, the more XP you're going to get. So it's always worth it to push higher, but it's not worth if you're sacrificing too much speed. If you're starting to spend like more than a couple of seconds on an elite pack, maybe you're too high, right? It should be clear and move, and you should be going pretty quickly through these. Again, Flooded Depth, if you have a key and you're not able to do it, that's because you didn't do the Stronghold. So make sure you go do that, the Hope's Light Stronghold. You're going to be doing this until 68, and then you're going to be swapping. You're going to be doing your Capstone Dungeon here. So we're going to actually, that's a little copy-paste error. There we go. So attempt your Capstone Dungeon. There we go. When you feel ready. So at 68, again, same rule as the 45, 48. You can do this a little bit earlier if you feel like it. You can do it a little bit later if you feel like it. Just whenever you feel ready and you know you could tackle the Capstone Dungeon, you're going to want to go do this and to make sure that you can unlock World Tier 4. Again, once you get in World Tier 4, I would do exactly what you did with World Tier 3. Go do a little bit of open world. Go do some Legion events. There's a good chance that there's already people that are ahead of you in leveling, so they're already going to be doing Legion event, and it's not going to be like the end of the world if you're not able to fully participate, is what I'm trying to say, right? You're probably not going to be soloing these Legion events unless you're part of the super high leveling speed team, right? So you're going to have some help. You're going to have some people around you. The Legion event should be pretty easy to clear out, and then you're going to get some really nice loot. You're going to be getting some ancestral gear, and that's going to help you tremendously. Maybe a couple of level as well. So 68, 70, just do a couple level, just grind for some gear, get some ancestral, get that weapon, those big pieces, and when you feel ready, just feel free to start spamming Nightmare Dungeon again. So that's pretty cool. You're going to get teleported like every time to the Nightmare Dungeon. It's going to be super fast this season. Also, the amount of XP, the speed to level to 100 should be roughly reduced by 40%, they said, if you use all of your bonus XP available, so the elixir and all that stuff. So you should have to spam Nightmare Dungeon for way less time than we had to in the previous preseason and Season 1. But that's pretty much going to be it. Again, feel free to start also including world bosses and Hell Tides. I forgot to mention Hell Tides, but that's going to be very important. because you're going to want, as soon as you can do Helltide in World Tier 3, you're going to want to make sure to pay attention to these, because you're going to need the Forgotten Souls and you're going to need the Rose Fiends. You're going to need those for crafting and upgrading your gear later on. So make sure that you start incorporating these whenever you see them and you feel like doing them. Go out, go clear the Helltides, get some material, and you'll be good to go. Once you get to that World Tier 4, you can start also doing the World Boss, because now you're going to get the big loot out of it, and you're going to get some Grim Favor. You're going to get some nice reward, some nice XP, and that's going to be nice. So again, spam Nightmare Dungeon. Feel free to do some Legion event. Feel free to do the Helltides as well. That's going to be very nice. And possibly, obviously, engage with the new mechanic, right? So the new mechanic, the Vampire powers, you're probably going to want to try to do some of those Blood Harvest, because they're probably going to help you out, get some of those material to start putting on your gear, which will allow you to equip those new Vampiric power. You're going to want to engage in some way for this. It's just we don't know a lot right now. So we still have to wait for the patch to release. But in order for you to level fast and get a character ready to go for some endgame content, that's probably going to be the best thing. So spam your Nightmare Dungeon, your Legion event, your Helltide, do a little bit of Blood Harvest, and do your world bosses and try to gear up. As soon as you have the resistance and as soon as you have the gear ready and you think you're good to go, make sure you go try those Uber bosses. You don't need to be max level for these, so make sure you go do your Uber bosses. Make sure you check which one drops the gear that you need, and go attempt them, get the gear that you need, and then you're gonna be ready to go. Some general hints here. Make sure you always have your experience elixir. Again, when you get to the Legion event, there's going to be a little fire camp. Click on it once. Stay close to it. You're going to get a big XP buff that's going to ramp up to 15 stack. If I'm not mistaken, that's going to give you some nice experience boost. The elixir as well. Try to group up with people if you can when you get to those events. Make sure you upgrade your weapon. This is one of the reasons I rarely put a legendary power while leveling during my playthrough on my weapon. It's just to save costs for upgrading. So depending how my money is doing, my mats are doing, make sure you upgrade that weapon, that rare weapon, as high as you can. Every time you get a brand new weapon, upgrade it to 1 before the last. You know what I'm saying? So if the max is 4, upgrade it 3 times. If the max is 5, upgrade it, you know. So just upgrade it always 1 before the last one. The last one is always the pricey one, but just upgrading that weapon, getting that extra damage, item level power, is going to make a world of a difference. Make sure you re-roll your stats, right? If you get a good pair of gear, re-roll it once or twice just to see if you can get a better stats on there. Some more HP, some more damage reduction, some more armor. That's going to help you tremendously as you level. And yeah, make sure you follow your guide that you found for your gear, the legendary you need to obtain, and what build to follow, and you're going to be good to go. Should be a very nice seasons in terms of leveling here, because just of all the multiplicative bonus XP that are getting added, and just all the buff and XP to Legion event, to the tree, to everything. It's just the season should allow us to level quite a lot faster, and it should be more fun. We're going to be able to target loot as well. So yeah, that's going to be fun. If you guys want to come hang out, I'm streaming on Twitch pretty much every day. I'm going to be streaming a lot of the Season 2, and I'm going to be making a ton of guide for Necromancer. I'm actually going to record some Necromancer leveling and endgame guide right now, and I'm going to be doing a lot more content. So if you like the video, just leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, feel free to do whatever you want also. And leave a comment if you're going to be playing this season, what's going to be your class that you're going to be leveling first, and if you want to see more of this type of content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in Sanctuary, my friend. Bye-bye.